Hey everybody, what is up? Welcome back to Final Trade. Comically, I had 3 questions from different people in about the last 4 days about storage, boxes, shelving, things like that. You know, when your collection starts to get too big, what do you do to kind of keep it tamed, under control? And of course, I'm going to give you the answer for Magic, Pokemon, and Flesh and Blood. And the first part of this is going to be boxes. Then I'm going to take you into one of the closets in my house and show you some shelving. The first thing to keep in mind is if you're buying in the quantities where you get the case packaging, just keep that. You know, if you're buying 4 Flesh and Blood boxes together and you get the case package, or you're buying 6 Pokemon boxes and you get that really awkward, long, skinny case, or Magic, just don't take them out of that. Just store them in that. You know, and I find that what I really focus on with the boxing is making sure I'm not putting so much weight into a box that I'm going to throw my back out. I know I sound like the oldest person on the planet saying that, but you know, that's a reasonable concern for me. What do I use for Magic? Most Magic, I use these USPS medium flat rate boxes. Now you can get these sometimes when you buy stuff, you'll get one. Someone will ship you stuff in them, or you can order them for free from USPS and your postal man will deliver them to your house. And then when it comes time to sell stuff, yeah, you can use them for that too, because they store Magic boxes actually like incredibly efficiently. So I've got a regular draft box here. It'll hold 4 of those. A set box, it'll hold 5 of those. And one of these, you know, like premium priced draft boxes where they only give you 24 packs of 15, it'll hold 6 of these. And then there's a 4th size, which is like the original Commander Legends. It was 24 packs of 20. And so it'll hold somewhere between this many. So whatever integer comes between 5 and 6. And then you can mix and match them and make it fit. So it stores very, very efficiently and it closes nicely. And then you can stack these. And so you can have nice stacks of these boxes in whatever closet you use. And then you have kind of best volumetric usage. Next, collector boxes. Okay. What do I use for these? Let me find it here. As I throw my camera around. Whoop. Region Rate Box B. Okay, so the previous one was medium flat rate. This is Region Rate Box B. Those are the only 2 boxes I use. So you're not going to get like a different box for every one of these things. And this will hold, how many is this? 2, 4, 6, 7, 14 collector boxes. And the thing I do is I turn this last one the other direction so it's sloping up like this. And then I put the gap on the edges here because there's almost an interference fit between the lids and the tops of these. So I do that just so it doesn't deform the boxes. And see, it doesn't quite want to close perfectly, but you know, just close it loosely like this, put a piece of tape on the top and put it on top of whatever stack of Region Rate B boxes that you have. So that's what I use a lot of time for that. Another thing that works really well is just a standard banker's box. If you have any of those around, you can fit 40 of these in a banker's box. It starts to get a little heavy and it's not really good for moving because banker's boxes are not entirely designed like that, but it works good for stationary storage, which is what you're going to be doing with this most of the time. So next, Pokemon. There we go. What is this? Pokemon Sword and Shield 06 Chilling Reign 6 booster boxes. Again, Regional Rate Box B. This works great for this. Holds 6, has a little extra room. You know, it's not going to be perfect, but it's really good. And if you're like most people, you're buying whatever boxes you're buying in smaller than case quantities anyway. And so it makes sense to be able to store them in something else to consolidate once you get a bunch of them together. So 6 can go in here. Now, as far as ETBs and stadiums and the other Pokemon products, man, those things are so volumetrically inefficient. You know, store them wherever you can because they don't weigh anything. They have no structural stability, so you can't stack anything on them, at least when it comes to like V boxes and collections and things. So you're going to have to find your own solution for those based on where you can stick those places. But generally, I don't buy a lot of those products anyway because, hey, a booster box is a pretty volumetrically efficient way to store value. And you can fit 6 of them in this Region Rate B box. Okay, now, interesting question. How many cards How many cards are in a Pokemon box? Well, it's 36 packs of 10. How many cards are in a Flesh and Blood box? It's 24 packs of 15, which means Flesh and Blood boxes and Pokemon boxes are the same size. Region Rate B box. Yeah. So you can fit 6 normal Flesh and Blood boxes in here the same way you can Pokemon. And of course, Flesh and Blood boxes are a little more structurally sound. They're not as floppy as Pokemon boxes. So, they look a little nicer and they, kind of stick together better. But when it comes to these, what do they even call these in Flesh and Blood? What do they call Crucible of War and Everfest? They're like supplemental sets. I don't know if they have an official word in the community, but they're smaller because they are 24 packs of 10 instead of 24 packs of 15. And so you can fit 5 of those across, and then you could mix and match. Maybe could you get 2 of these? Maybe not. But you could mix and match to some extent. So you could put 6 of these in with the other 3 on this side of the box, or hey, you could put 10 of these supplementals with the other 5 on this side of the box. So that's what I do to kind of when I buy stuff not in case quantity, and I've got to package it to store it away in a closet, but I don't want it all getting so heavy that I'm just going to blow my back or shoulders out picking it up. So Regional Rate B works great for Magic collector boxes and all Pokemon and all Flesh and Blood, and the medium flat rate boxes work great for Magic, for the draft boxes of various sizes, and the set boxes. And there's one more thing. Here we go. What about these ridiculous monsters? Yes, the original set boxes, back when WotC thought they really needed to hold our hands to cope with paying more money for fewer cards with set boxes. They made this kind of giant box for Zendikar Rising, Kaldheim, Strixhaven, Modern Horizons 2, and Adventures in the Forgotten Realms. So by the time they got to Midnight Hunt, they had said, oh, we're going to make packaging more efficient. We'll shrink it down to the actual size it needs to be. If you have a bunch of these laying around like I do, yeah, I just kind of tuck them places. I don't really worry about finding a box that can optimally hold 4 or 6 of these. I do have some case boxes of these holding most of them, but maybe I've got another like 10 or 12 of these loose set boxes from when they were giant like this. I don't have a good solution for these for you. Tuck them somewhere. Good luck. So let's go over into the closet now, and I will show you some shelving and how I kind of tackle that problem. Okay, guys, and then the second part of this is shelving. I had some questions about that too this week. And, this is just a super cheap 2x4 and plywood shelving unit that I built in the last couple of weeks. And it's in here in my master closet. You can build something like this for way less than $100. And I remember way back, Rudy used to extol the virtues of those big metal shelving units for storing all the heavy weight of cards. And yeah, those are really great, but man, they've gone up in price in the last 5, 6, 7 years. So it used to be you could buy those big shelving units for, $50 on Black Friday. And I have a bunch of them in my garage, but when you're talking about buying more today, they're just too expensive. You can put together stuff like this out of 2x4s and plywood for well under $100, and it will just hold an unbelievable amount of weight. I mean, you're not going to crush 2x4s with cards, and you really don't have to have any type of ingenious engineering to make it work. I mean, I have this one central support there just to keep the upper shelf from sagging, and I put stuff here while I'm waiting to get it more sorted in the middle of the month before I make my end of month what did I buy video. I also have more boxes that normally go here, but I moved them out of the way to be able to show you the inside of this. And, the banker's boxes are okay. You can store cards in them. Most of these do not have cards in them. They have other books and records and other things. But you can store cards in them. They're just difficult to move. But like I've shown you already, I really like these medium flat rate boxes and the regional B boxes for storing things. And of course, way back there, yeah, that's something good for you guys coming in a while. So I've been working on that for a long time. So yeah, the nice thing about this is down here you see that's a 2x4 turned down. So, it's laid over like this instead of standing up like this. And there's three of them under this bottom sheet of plywood. And that gives it, total maybe about an inch and a half clearance off the floor, because less than 6 feet away from here is a water heater. And that was actually part of a question that I got from somebody was, keeping boxes dry and things like that. And so when I built this cheap shelving unit here, one of the intentions was, hey, there's a water heater 6 feet away. Let's make sure that if it were to burst one day, the water would not get up high enough to start making all these boxes potentially full of cards themselves wet. So, other things to worry about is you are probably never going to find a homeowner's insurance company that can insure your sealed product for any reasonable amount of money, because it's so difficult to place value on it. So you will probably never have them insured. And as far as protection against things like house fires, I've seen residential fires where half the house burns down. So potentially you could mitigate your risk by storing all your stuff in two different closets on opposite sides of the house. I know that's kind of a dumb answer, but it's about the best you can do. Maybe if you have an elderly parent who still lives alone, maybe you could talk to them, store some stuff in a closet at their house. It just mitigates your risk. I mean, it physically spreads the risk over space, which is something you're looking to do. Unless you have so much product that you can justify something like, having a separate rent house to store it in, which I don't think anybody with that much product is watching this channel, but, or if, you run another business and you have a commercial location for it and you can sacrifice some volume in there to store your sealed product, then, those are other ways to kind of mitigate the issue. But short of that, this is what works for me. I have a similar setup in another closet in the house. I'm not going to show you that one, but 2x4s and 3/4 inch plywood are fairly cheap. Lumber prices have come way down compared to what they were 2 years ago. And you can build things like this for well under $100. And you can actually make them optimally fit the volume you have available, which was what I was going for here, because this is a really weird little nook of space that I have in my master closet, and I wanted to take full advantage of it. So building something myself was the way to go. And I don't know that there's any amount of cardboard. I could stack cardboard to the ceiling, and it probably would not be enough to make this fail. So there's my answer for you. Maybe not as off the shelf and simple as you would have liked, but this is what works for me. And, you do what you can with what you have. So let me know what you guys think. Otherwise, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Join me on Final Trade. Thanks a lot.